Luann Stevens, and I'd like to share a story of what happened to me. On July the 28th, 2014, Aaron and I were sitting on our back porch, and I leaned back in my chair, and I got stung, and I am allergic to bees, and so I ran and grabbed my EpiPen, and we jumped in the car. We were about 15 minutes probably from the hospital, and I guess it was about 4 minutes into it. I told him, I said, I'm losing my vision, and I took the EpiPen and I jabbed it in my leg, and I counted to 10, and it wasn't very long after that I looked at Aaron, and that's the last thing I remember.
That look that she gave me, I'll never forget it. She looked at me and her eyes rolled back in her head. And then she went limp. And I thought I lost her. And anyway, I was driving above the speed limit, getting to where we were. And then I guess I lost all my senses and decided to drive on the wrong side of the road, passing cars, running red lights. And a few minutes later, we got to the hospital and pulled in front of the emergency room. I got out, ran in, and yelled, I need help, I need help. And they came out, I think 3, and they had a wheelchair. And they were struggling, and they said, we can't get her out. We can't get her out of the car. So I called this a God thing. I mean, they were younger than me and probably in a lot better shape. I just reached in and grabbed her and lifted her up and put her in the wheelchair. And you could tell she was lifeless. It was obvious. And anyway, they were taking her in very quickly. I followed them in, and they called me over as they were going in, and they have a way to identify me. I gave them my palm, and they said, is that Luann Stevens, and are you Aaron Stevens? I said, yes, and I guess they connected us through the technology they had. We go in, and there was a gentleman with me. He escorted me back to the room that they were working on Luann, and you could tell everybody was in a panic. Doctors and nurses, and they used the paddles on her, and I can't tell you about how much time we had spent, but seemed like an eternity. And then they asked a question, which was kind of strange. They said, has she taken, I think it was Benadryl? Anyway, I can't remember. But I think from the time that she lost consciousness and the time that they asked this question, I'm guessing might be 30 minutes. I'm not sure. That's just a guess. And anyway, they asked the question, and Luann raised her hand with the 2. And I guess she took 2 Benadryl or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's, I still have her.
Okay, this is the good part. I don't remember anything. That's why he had to tell you what happened, because I was not there. I left my body, and I was in the emergency room, I guess, and I was about 20 feet or so above, and I was looking down at them working on me. And the next thing I knew, I went up and I was in heaven. And I wish I could describe the peace that took place there. It was just, there was no worry, it was just wonderful. And then Jesus was standing there. And we talked. I don't understand. I guess he knew me, and the things I kind of wanted to stay, but the conversation kept going to our daughter Brittany, and she was 5 months pregnant, and Keller, who was 1, and my son-in-law's mom. And so, it was we talked through thoughts, I guess. It wasn't scary, it wasn't anything, I wasn't shocked, it was so natural. But then I came back, and I still don't know why, unless it's for something like this. So that's when I heard him ask how many Benadryl I had taken, and I went, and he knew I was alive at that point. I did not tell Aaron the story for 2 days. It was personal. I needed to just process what had happened. But then I told him, and I didn't tell anybody else for a while, but we went, Fenton, the one that we talked about in heaven, was very ill. And so we came down here, and she was in a coma, I guess, and I went over to her bed, and I took her hand, and I said, Jesus is real, and he's there. And she wiggled her fingers. That's the hardest part of this, is because I think she heard me, and I think she knew. And then I sang "It Is Well With My Soul." So I guess one thing I need to just say real quick, different things have happened that I shared my story, and I was walking, I just saw a neighbor in the park, and she was crying, and I went over and I asked her. I didn't know her, but I said, "Are you okay?" And she said it was the anniversary of her son's death. And I was compelled to tell her my story, and she broke down and just said that helped her so much. And I've shared it with my community Bible class, and one of the girls was having a double mastectomy, and she ran up to me and just hugged me and said that gave her so much hope. And so I've shared it, not to this many people, but I have shared it before. And I just hope that this does reach out and give everyone some hope, because he's real and he's there. And I know it. I know there could be doubters, but I know. So that's it. Thank you.